Well, kick me in the balls and push me down a flight of stairs. There's a new Neptunia game coming out next year for PS4 and PS5. This was announced a few days ago, and now that I've given the title a few days to marinate, I believe a news roundup video is in order. Also, a warning before we start. Yes, the images I've used in this video are not the greatest. Unfortunately, this is the best quality of these images I could find. Sadly, I don't even think there are any official screenshots up on the site in terms of there being a specific section devoted to them, which is extremely unusual for a game of this kind. This information comes from 3 sites, namely Twinfinite, Gematsu, and Siliconera, which I'm still not sure after all these years whether I'm pronouncing correctly. First off, when is the game coming out? That's kinda important. Deal number 1 here. Hyperdimension Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters releases next year in Japan on the 21st of April, and if you want a somewhat accurate, maybe, indicator of how far into the dev cycle they are with this title, Compile Hard have stated they're 70% done. That sounds about right, given the release date. So who's the main focus this time around? Well, looking at the promo art or key visual here, it's safe to assume Nepgear is going to play a big role. The game is called Sisters vs. Sisters, after all, and according to the Twinfinite article, that's 100% correct. But Nepgear's not hogging the spotlight all to herself, no. Uni, Ram, Rom, Noir, and Blanc are also considered main characters for this title. The official site only lists Nepgear, Uni, Ram, and Rom currently though. Maybe they'll add Noir and Blanc later on. Or maybe the Twinfinite article is just wrong. Who knows? While Sisters vs. Sisters doesn't necessarily seem to deviate significantly from the established canon of the series at a glance, although what the hell is even fully canon and set in stone for these games anyway, it's still being dubbed a spin-off game. So all of that info is all nice and good, but what about the story? I hear you yell from the valleys below. Well, thankfully, Gematsu has provided a translation of the Japanese-only story page from the official site, which I will naturally read in a dramatic voice. It goes like this, quote, "Handhelds versus smartphones, the little sister's portable revolution that began over time. That day, the 4 CPUs set off in response to a request for help from the PC continent far beyond the sea, while Nepgear and the other CPU candidates that stayed behind visited a certain research facility. There, they were trapped in a capsule and put into a deep sleep by the Grey CPU, and awakened to a game industry 2 years later. People now had the latest model of smartphone called the Magiphone. It became a world in which the market share was dominated by smartphones. Neptune is told that Planetoon fell to the Bozor phenomenon, in which hordes of monsters to appear, and that her older sister Neptune went missing. Having lost her sister and a home to return to, Nepgear fell into despair. This is a story of destruction and restoration by CPUs, 4 CPUs, to pave the way from a future of despair to a future of hope." End quote. So first off, this Bozor phenomenon, Bozor phenomenon, it's translated differently between the sites in terms of pronunciation. Here on Gematsu, it's written Bozor, and in the Twinfinite article, it's written as Buzzle. I think I've tracked down the original Japanese word from the site, and if you read it in the katakana that it's written in, it's pronounced Bazuru. Bazuru. I'm pretty sure about that. The Twinfinite article also adds that all of the older sisters have disappeared, and not just Neptune. Also, Neptune is told about the Buzzle phenomenon. That doesn't seem right. How the hell is she being informed of this whole scenario when she's supposed to be MIA? And once again, if I've got the right part of the story text here, it is indeed a mistake, and it's supposed to say Nepgear. But you get the gist of this award-winning story. There is another brief info chunk on the Gematsu site, and it says, also in a dramatic voice, quote, "The sisters get their long-awaited star role in this genuine Neptunia series spin-off. The 4 younger sisters rise up to take back their share of the portable games market, stolen by the mysterious smartphone called Magiphone. The character models that decorate game scenes are all new, and the characters are cuter than ever. In addition to a battle system that combines action and strategy, the familiar goddess transformations and EXE drive systems return, allowing players to enjoy dynamic battles. utilize strategy to seize victory with the sisters, end quote. So my suspicions are confirmed. They are character model updates or just flat out new models. That's nice. And if you're wondering if the story is still in the visual novel format, the Twinfinite article confirms that that is still the case. And now let's talk about the meat and potatoes of the game, the combat. You'll get to have 3 characters within your party at any given time, and the fighting itself takes place in real time. You apparently can only control 1 of the 3 characters, while the other 2 are at the mercy of the AI's big brain. Don't worry though, as you'll have the option to switch your control character whenever the hell you want. The skill system works like this. Siliconera describes the 2 available skill types as, quote, combo and tactical skills, end quote. If you want to activate a combo skill, it's as simple as pushing a single button, and these skills are linkable with the other party members. Tactical skills are a different story though. These are using this skill will use up a portion of my special gauge abilities. These bars or gauges will refill over the course of the battle, and Twinfinite article writer recommends switching characters while the recharge is in effect. As mentioned above, EXC drive abilities are back, and from what I can tell, they function the way they always have. A 30-minute long cutscene will play, and serious damage will be dealt. Also, of course, HDD forms are back. The article doesn't call it HDD, it just mentions powering up without giving any fancy name or terminology. While they're powered up, aside from looking different, their in-game stats will also get a boost. A small detail here by Twinfinite, it says, quote, in this form, they can also activate combos freely, end quote. So, does that mean that other skills are free during HDD form activation? I have absolutely no idea. In order to make battles feel as smooth as possible, I'm assuming you'll be able to navigate anywhere on the map during combat. At least that's how it sounds. This is all vague enough to be slightly misinterpreted as it stands, but I'm sure I understood it correctly. If you want to check the info for yourself, all of the sources are in the description awaiting your dissection. Some of the environments you can expect to encounter are, and keep in mind, these are all fully 3D in case that wasn't obvious for whatever reason, cities, swamps, some lovely forests, and rolling plains. Planetoon and the inside of the Planet Tower is also fully explorable. If you're a PS5 user, first off, congratulations. Wow, you must be really handsome and sexy and drowning in hookers and cash. Secondly, I'm about to make your day. No, your week. No, actually, I'm about to make your year. The PS5 version of Hyperdimension Neptunia, Sisters vs. Sisters, will support haptic feedback. Oh yes, it's true, you're not dreaming. You can try pinching and slapping yourself, but you'll never wake up because this is your life, this is your reality, and your reality is haptic feedback. If you're a chronic special edition collector and live in Japan, there are 2 editions of the game you may be interested in, namely the limited edition and the digital deluxe edition. The limited edition comes in at an extremely affordable 8,580 yen, while the digital deluxe edition costs a trivial 12,100 yen. In US dollars, that's $74 for the limited edition and $105 for the digital deluxe edition. I mean, in all honesty, how can you afford not to buy both? That's pretty much all the information we have at this point, or at least all I could find without fully learning kanji overnight, and quite frankly, that's just crazy. As usual, I'll keep posting updates as they come out. It might take a day or 2 after something new gets revealed, because when it comes to games with a basically 100% Japanese marketing system, sometimes you gotta let things sit and stew, and that can often result in more info appearing than there was initially when the news dropped. Oh, also, before I go, there's a 1 minute, like a roughly 1 minute trailer. I think it's exactly 1 minute. I'll leave it in the description as well. Check that out for some brief gameplay shots. And that's it. That's all the info we have. And until the next video, I'm gonna go feed my cows a shitload of rainbow treats in The Sims 4. Gotta get that sweet rainbow milk, you know.